is JG Barnes, and this is Jonathan McKinney.
Hi.
And you are listening to episode 2 of our WandaVision podcast about episode 2 of WandaVision.
Yeah, these episodes don't have names, do they?
I don't know.
I don't think they do. You talk. I'm going to find out. I'm pretty sure they don't.
All right, he is furcling in his trousers now, Podlovians.
I was
for his phone.
I just thought I'd pleasure myself for a moment.
Oh my god. So we are going to be talking about episode 2 of WandaVision, and if you listened to us on...
Yeah, just episode 1, episode 2.
Fair enough. If you listen to us on the... John, if you listen to us on the floppity flop...
On the floppity flop.
We were talking about episode 1.
And that means last time we did this podcast, right? Which was, in our world, moments ago.
Just moments ago.
And for these people, probably moments ago. Moments. Each moment sweeter than the last.
So,
Did we get drunk in between? Sorry.
It would make sense if we did. We are doing, our podcast is going to be in a format which we have now established, where the first part of the podcast, we talk about the plot, we do a little summary of who's in it and what happens, so that everyone is on the same page.
Oh, by the way, did you notice Darcy from the Thor movies in either of these episodes?
No, I didn't, which means that I think she's coming up.
But she's credited in both of them.
Is she?
She is. Which baffles me, because I'm pretty sure... I don't know about this one because there's a lot of women
in that one, but in the first one,
the only women I can think of are the woman who is from next door on the right, Catherine Hahn. Agnes, with the husband Ralph.
Yeah, who she hates.
Who might be the Grim Reaper.
Carry on.
And Mrs. Hart in the first episode. Those are the only two other women in this.
Was there any women in the office where Vision works?
I don't think so. I might be being massively sexist, as you know I am prone to be.
Obviously. I didn't see, but like I say, we've only watched it. I will watch it. We'll watch it again, and we'll. Yeah,
because I think we'd have noticed.
Yeah, well, because I used to watch Two Broke Girls, and Kat Dennings is hilarious in that.
Yeah, but she's credited. It might be that was on IMDb, so IMDb might be a little bit behind.
Yeah.
The 8 ball.
Anyway, so yeah, the fart one.
Fart one.
I literally just said fart one.
We're a classy podcast.
We are a classy podcast. Part 1, we'll do the rundown. Part 2, we'll talk about what... the rundown.
What kind of rundown are you looking for
there? Part 2, we'll talk about what we liked, and part 3, we'll talk about what we didn't like, and then part 4 is Springer's final thoughts, where
Sounds like it's pretty important, whatever the rundown is.
We'll talk about the things we interpret from it, ideas, things we think are going to come, interpretations of events.
Yeah. Good.
So, episode 2 is the magic show.
Yes. So we meet
Dottie, who is Emma Caulfield.
But we need to credit her properly because she has...
Oh yeah, she's like Emma Caulfield Foster or something.
Let me just... I don't want to do her a disservice.
Yeah, but if you are a fan of Buffy the Vampire Slayer...
Emma Caulfield Ford.
Oh, I was right with the foot "or".
Yes, you were.
And the "r".
Yeah.
I just added a bit of extra.
Yeah, she's Anya.
Yeah. Bunnies! I'm just going to sing and I'm not going to sing because I can't.
I mean, we could sing.
No,
we
couldn't.
We could just start
it'd be
singing.
Terrible. No, but I think it'd be don't
singing.
No, don't. It would be terrible. We'll
you
lose.
Sing,
no.
I will sing.
Oh, I think it's a bad idea.
And then
our Podlovians will switch off.
So our Podlovians probably don't know Buffy as well as we do, right? We know it pretty well.
Well, our daughter's named Buffy.
Yes, one of them.
Yeah,
not both of them.
No, they're not both. I'm not like Buffy 1 and Buffy 2.
Buffy 1 and Buffy 2.
But yeah, Anya is Emma Caulfield, and I don't know what else she's done really.
Ford, Judith.
She was only Emma Caulfield in Buffy.
I know, but that's her name. So
I know, but it wasn't then. She was just Emma Caulfield in Buffy, and now she's Emma.
There is a Ford.
There was a Ford attachment.
Yeah.
So I don't know what
like Levinson Gould.
like Levinson Gould. I don't know what else she has done. I don't know, but I was delighted to see her.
So was I.
She's fabulous. So we have this is the most Stepford Wives part of this show.
Okay.
When you've got the kind of robotic women with for the kids,
for the children,
yeah. The very committed to the presentation. When she says, "I'm wearing pants, but everyone's in a skirt," and what's her name?
Monica Rambeau.
I can't remember what the character's name is, but she says like, "Oh, I like them." Like she says like, "I would have liked to wear pants," and then
is
they
it
get
Monica, because that's the woman that is Captain Marvel's friend.
But I can't remember what her character name is.
In this or in Captain Marvel?
In this.
In this, her name, dear listener friends, is...
We're so professional. We've got all this...
Geraldine.
Geraldine, that's right. So I got a feeling from that Geraldine is the one who is not quite as entranced by the control of Dottie and the conformity.
Yeah, I was like, Geraldine, stop talking to Wanda because you're getting her into trouble.
But I feel that's very Stepford Wives.
Like I was just in school and I'm sat next to, I'm not going to say his name.
Talkie McTalkypants.
Talkie McTalky. How did you know what his name was?
I'm very wisdomous.
Talkie used to talk a lot, and then I would get into trouble.
Yeah. You have I found that setup very familiar, but not because of school, because of the Stepford Wives style. Then you have, obviously they do the magic show,
which is great.
It was very Buck and Wanda from Bones.
Buck and Wanda.
Buck and Wanda from Bones, with the little spangly leotard, and
they're called Glamour and
Illusion,
which is nice. Those are character names that are like sidekicks that at some point or another.
And did you notice, the little weird meeting where the gossip is going on between the men?
Yeah.
They've got Keenan from Keenan and Kel.
I did not notice that.
Yeah, Keenan from Keenan and Kel.
I know who you mean, but I did not know that was Keenan from Keenan and Kel.
Oh my
gosh. But the 90s just keeps landing.
It just keeps coming, doesn't it? So I was very excited by that. So there's the mysteries in this episode that sort of pop up. You've got the weird, controlled by Dottie the neighbour, who
for the children.
Yeah, they have the robotics are for the children. Agnes is sort of like, she's the one you want to get into.
Yes, she's the
Catherine Hahn. Yeah, so she's the one you need to impress, etc.
Yeah, they link arms. Well, Agnes links Wanda's arm and they walk off, and she's explaining to her that Dottie is the key to all of the social development.
You've got the weird robot woman group. You've got the weird gossiping men group that Vision sort of infiltrates.
Yes, because he's concerned about the tree.
So yeah, those are the two.
Youths.
Those are the two social groups. Then you have the tree outside that's, causing them a mischief and scaring them.
Yes.
You've got, and of course, the Pleasantville aspect when the colour starts popping in.
Yes.
The helicopter.
Yes.
The blood on the hands.
Yes.
And I found, you were saying in the last episode that you wanted more mystery, or would have enjoyed more mystery.
Yes.
I was very excited by the sudden development.
The world is breaking
apart.
The
world is breaking, and it's happening nicely. Now it's cracked in episode 1. It's like a window, you know what I mean? Like the crack of the pebble in episode 1 was the choking, and now the glass is just fracturing slowly, spider webbing out.
Yes.
And I very much enjoyed it. I enjoy the mystery that is in world of the robot women and the men's gossip group. I enjoy that because it's very reminiscent of that era, sort of. I enjoy a mystery. So again, if this was all kept in this world and that was the crack of the veneer, like it in Stepford Wives, I would enjoy that, because I'm like, ooh, what are these in-world people up to? What is the mystery going on here? But then the outworld, does this make sense?
Yeah.
The outworld of the trees And the blood and the helicopter, the colour pop, and then obviously at the very end, colour swoops around the room. And going from your... Oh, no, we won't talk about theories yet. So we'll just talk about what happens in the episode.
Okay.
I'm getting ahead of myself with our formula. So, yeah, they do the magic show. Vision has gum stuck in his mechanism, so he goes a bit drunk. But
hilariously, yeah. Basically, he just gets drunk.
They pull off the magic show.
Funny as
he
fuck.
is so funny.
He sounds a little bit more London than normal.
Yes, he does.
I can't do an impression.
No, don't.
I can do an East End.
I know, but don't.
No, because it's insulting to anyone who is actually from the East End.
Yeah. But yeah, so they pull off the magic show, but they pull off the magic show by using actual magic to pretend they're not doing actual magic.
Well, yeah, she keeps sort of covering up for her buffoonish husband, who keeps doing actual magic because he's pissed as a fart.
Yes, exactly.
Right? Pissed as a fart, if you're an American person, and hello, and thank you for listening to us, pissed as a fart means very drunk. Yeah. If you're an English person, which I am.
They go home. She talks about how she, like, all the way through there's been hints about whether she'll have children. In episode 1, she's like, why, you're married, why don't you have children yet? In episode 2, Agnes keeps on about, like, if you go to schools and have a baby.
Yeah.
So by the end of the episode, she pops up pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the colour goes around the room, and suddenly they are in Technicolor.
Yes, I mean, there is a rather startling event that occurs between two of those events, which is she pops up pregnant, and then the bee-man.
Oh yeah, the bee-man
comes out of the
Of course,
vent.
I skipped over that. Yeah. Oh my gosh, they go outside, yeah, and she has to rewind. Oh my gosh, I'd completely sort of skipped over that in my head. Yeah, it's very sort of like the vent, like the grate goes back.
I enjoyed how Stephen King it was.
I know. I'm watching it like, oh my god, this is scary.
Yeah, and it's scary because Wanda and
Vision.
I keep wanting to say Wanda and the alien. He's not an alien.
He's not.
Although he was somewhat fashioned from alien.
But he is a magic robot.
He's a magic robot. Wanda and the magic robot are scared. They are demonstrably scared when before the bee-man even climbs out of there.
Yeah, because the trees are going and they hear noises.
It is quite affecting. When you're watching it, it's quite scary.
And because it's gone from this very goofy comic sort of Bewitched style show where it's we're covering up magic and we're like...
Are we still in plot or are we into things we liked?
We'll cover this and then we'll go into things we like. So yeah, they go outside, there's all the scary noises, the grate goes back, and then the man with the bee hood crawls out and turns and looks at them. It's genuinely frightening. She does some kind of she goes, nope.
She says literally no.
No. And then it goes back, they're inside, she pops up pregnant again.
She pulls a Tenet.
A what?
A backwards thing.
Ah, right. That. And then she pops up pregnant, and then the magic goes round and they are in Technicolor.
Yes.
And then they kiss and laugh and everyone's like, woo!
And the specific line that we hear twice, well, there's a few lines that we hear twice, but the one that stands out is this really happening?
Yes. Yeah.
And he says yes.
Yeah.
He looks her in the eyes and says yes.
Yeah.
Because this girl is massively, massively in pain.
Yes.
Somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah. That's final thoughts. Do what you like now.
What I liked. Okay, so one of my favourite things is when a very silly, dumb thing delivers a emotional blow that is something you don't expect, right? So there are dramas on television and in film theatres. Very fancy filmmakers and television writers.
Yeah.
Giving themselves awards all the fucking time, right?
Yes.
Wherein they frame their sad stories in sad ways.
Yes.
And audiences say, I want to be sad tonight, so I'm going to watch this sad thing. And then sit down and be sad because the film tells them to be sad. I'm being a little bit disparaging. I don't want to be disparaging too much about any kind of creative endeavor, especially filmmaking. But the idea of couching an emotionally devastating blow in something silly is my favourite thing.
It's very Buffy.
It's very Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which you call a TV show Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you're not expecting to have everybody give you all of the awards.
Yeah, it's...
Because you call your TV show The West Wing, and you have it about politicians being political and being very smart, and you expect to get awards.
Yeah, definitely.
That is not a criticism of The West Wing.
No,
it's one of my favourite TV shows of all time.
We love The West Wing, but it is smart, and it sets out to be smart.
It's award bait in a way that Buffy the Vampire Slayer is deliberately not.
I agree.
Tank Girl, not the weird film, but the comic book, was not similar to Buffy, but it was also kind of nonsense and occasionally would be profound. And it was more powerful, to me anyway, because I find the nonsense and the silliness of Buffy the Vampire Slayer as a concept, not literally what it is. And also the idea of Tank Girl, where she's literally shagging a rabbit man,
but I agree. The putting an emotional blow in The West Wing, you go into it expecting intellect, so you're not shocked by it. In any sort of drama, any scary film, right? You go into a scary film expecting to be scared.
Yeah.
So when you watch a show like this, or Buffy, or whatever, but we'll talk WandaVision, where you go into WandaVision and it's set up as goofy and funny and daft.
Yes.
So, right, if you'd put that scene where the bee-man climbs out.
Yes.
If you'd put that in American Horror Story,
it's not scary at all.
Not scary at all, because there's so much stuff that they're trying to scare you with all the time. So you're like, oh, okay, it's just a bee-man. Oh, and now he's gone. That's fine. But you put it in context like this show, where you've got these characters being happy, goofy, and funny, and it hits you because it's not set up like that.
Yeah, it counters the emotional state you've been
exactly
directed into.
So when you have the emotional trauma moments, again, you've seen them being happy, so you're not emotionally prepared for the sudden jolt.
Yeah, what I'm sort of driving at ultimately is, and it's not even really about the scariness of that scene, although that was scary, and I think part of the power of it was that it was a diversion from the tone.
Yes,
right?
I agree.
But this TV show is specifically answering a complaint that I made, as we talked about on the last podcast, about the death of Vision in Infinity War, which is, I don't know the relationship between these characters well enough to give a fuck.
Yeah, I agree. I felt that. I felt like I should have been more emotionally
I only
affected.
see you, like, it's all very, you can summon the emotions necessary to care, but you have to summon them because you haven't been pushed to care. Because
there's so much going on in those stories that they haven't got time to give it you. But in this, they do.
If we'd have seen this before that, you could spend all the time in space and all the other stuff, and all they'd need to do is drop in, and you'd care because you'd have spent the time.
I agree.
So for audiences watching Infinity War after having watched this, if that ever happens,
I mean, there will be new people to the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Then they will, I think, cry more truly than anybody did at this. So it's not even about specifically the
Endgame,
the B-Man coming out of the grave, or about the death of Vision. It's more just that what this show is committing to is entertaining you in a fun way. Yeah. So you get Vision drunk with a goofy little cartoon of gum in his little gears.
Yeah.
And then sort of wandering about being a big drunk idiot while Wanda is trying to sort of make it like all part of the plan. Yeah. And it's funny.
It's funny and
it's silly and it's entertaining in that way. And so you put your emotional guard down because you don't need it. Because you don't need your emotional guard. You're not waiting for the hammer blow of these two being separated, because the point of it is specifically look how funny and silly and
happy
it is.
Absolutely.
And then there are these drops of
it's gonna...
don't get too comfortable, and it doesn't spend too much time in Sadsville. It doesn't spend too much time in Goofysville.
I agree.
Right? And what I'm saying is that it is shaping up to be the specific kind of emotional punch in the face that I particularly love.
I 100% agree. I love her clawing to keep it together. The way in the magic show,
yes,
when it's all going wrong, she can fix it with magic, but smoothly, right?
Yes.
When it's going wrong in the world, in the dinner party, she can fix it with magic, not smoothly, because obviously they've got to do a lot of covering up, but she can still fix it with magic. In the magic show, she can fix it with magic, and again, it's bumpy but smooth. But she can keep it all moving forwards. But the bee-man climbing out of the grate, she
breaks her own rules.
She breaks her own rules. She can't keep it moving forward. She can't cover it up with a bumpy smoothness like she has in every other event. Mm-hmm. She can't. The other time that's true was when the radio's going. When the glass breaks, because then the blood is red, and that breaks the rules again. Yes. She can't cover that up with smooth magic. She can't gloss over it smoothly. It's too big for her.
And, interestingly, when she can't stop things from being in colour, she changes the world into colour.
Yeah.
So the world, if we are correct that she has constructed this world to live in, like the Matrix for herself, right?
Yeah.
Then she is...
It's not working. She has to change the world.
She's adapting.
Yeah.
Because the world is, essentially reality is forcing itself on her.
Wait, this is final thoughts.
Okay.
We have a formula.
What are we talking about now? What we like?
What we don't like.
What we don't like.
We've just done what we like. Is there anything you didn't like?
In episode 2?
Yeah.
No.
Me either. I am completely in love with this show.
Good.
Genuinely, I absolutely love it.
I don't think there's anything I didn't like in episode 2.
Ditto.
In the first one, as I mentioned in the first podcast,
you wanted a bit more mystery.
I wanted more mystery. And it's not even that it gave me that, which it did. It's not even that. Did you notice, and you will have enjoyed this if you did notice it, there's a Lost vibe?
Yes. Oh my gosh, absolutely. I meant to say, and you've completely reminded, it is like one giant hatch.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
It is. There is so much. There is so, like I say to you, you've got the gang of men. What is that mystery? You've got the robot women. What is that mystery? You've got the bee-man. What is that? What is that mystery? You've got the things coming out in colour. The pregnancy. Agnes's husband. You wanted to talk about Agnes's husband.
Yeah, but not in what we didn't like.
No, but the sort of... We'll move into final thoughts. Part 4. Right? You've got all of these mysteries just... Bam! Why Vision's boss and his wife was so sort of odd. After he
yes.
That is a big mystery.
And that is too much of a choice, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so much. It is just full of hatches.
He just switches.
100%.
It's because Wanda fixes the world she's living in.
But this show is full of hatches that I'm dying to go down. There is Desmond's down every one of these hatches, Jonathan. Think how great Desmond is.
Something about brother.
Yes, but the point is, the hatch in Lost is worth it, because in the hatch is Desmond, and we love Desmond. If every single one of the WandaVision hatches has a Desmond, how much bigger and better is it going to get?
I don't know.
I know. I love this show. Honestly, I love it. I am well in. And I don't understand. I saw somebody on either...
talk about the negativity.
Someone on Twitter, it was either Twitter or Facebook, and somebody asked, and all social media kind of blurs after a while, I'm not always sure which one is which, but it was one of them, said, WandaVision, is it worth it?
Yeah.
And a response was, it's cack.
It's cack.
That was it. It's cack. And I was like, and it was after, literally, this was this afternoon, after I had watched it while I was making the kids' lunches. And I was just, I couldn't respond to it because I was like, what did you watch? It's fascinating.
If they were expecting, like, Wanda and the Vision flying around and blowing up bad guys.
Like in the cartoon
They didn't get
version,
this.
but yeah.
They didn't get it. Like,
But it's fascinating and it's clever and it's interesting. And Elizabeth Olsen has so much pain in her eyes.
yes.
I would write for that woman. I tell you, I would write for her.
So would I, but I'm not being particularly choosy about who I'm writing
Oh yeah, yeah.
at the moment.
No, of course. Like we are small filmmakers.
Small
chips in a big bag of chips.
In the big bag of chips.
But right, if we made it to the grand budget people.
Well, it just depends. If she wants to like scribble out lines in the script and say we don't need that, then I'm gonna be like, look,
#subtweet.
I will work with.
I just think
Elizabeth Olsen, but
I think she's glorious.
With less enthusiasm than I would do. If
no,
she was
I don't think
like...
she does that. No, she comes across to me as incredibly professional. Also because I love her and I love her character, so I'm biased, right? But she delivers comedy and physical comedy, both spoken and physical comedy, brilliantly.
Oh, by the way, that wasn't just me talking about experiences we've had.
I know,
that's actor 101. Like.
I know. If you speak to anyone who makes movies, you learn about all sorts of things.
I've heard tales told of Edward James Olmos doing that.
No, don't besmirch Battlestar.
And crossing out words written by Jane Espenson and saying we don't need that.
Don't besmirch Battlestar to me.
Well, I'm not besmirching Battlestar. I'm just saying that's a thing that Jane Espenson said.
Well, I'm not surprised because actors, man.
She was very, very gracious about it and was like, "Well, it's Edward James Olmos, and he was directing, right?
Well, that's different.
That is different.
Ish.
It's still a little bit of an affront, frankly.
But anyway.
You're like, actually, no, those words do matter. The fact that you don't understand why they matter doesn't mean they don't matter.
It was somebody's job to write those.
It was somebody's job to write those, and you're just crossing them out because you don't think that they need to. Anyway.
Yes, I think the word you're looking for is anyway.
It really is. Makes it most of his own lines.
I think Elizabeth Olsen is wonderful. Absolutely fabulous. She's funny, she's sweet and vulnerable and nice. She comes across like she acts. I mean, I have no idea what she's like as a real person. This is purely based on this character.
Of course. But it's fine to admire.
Yeah, she portrays a character who is so human and so vulnerable while still being incredibly powerful and magical. She's not, she's not vulnerable in the physical sense because we've watched her blast the fuck out of aliens.
Yeah. Well, she's like her and Captain Marvel are probably the two Avengers who get closest to battering the shit out of Thanos.
Yeah, I agree.
Without anyone else helping them.
Yeah. She is
They should really have been the two sitting down and have that fight, shouldn't they?
Yeah, they should. She's not vulnerable in the physical sense, but she portrays this vulnerability in her emotional sense so perfectly, and I just think she's brilliant. And yeah, the it's cack response to this show. I'm like, this, I agree. If you were wanting and expecting Avengers, then you didn't get it. But I think that if you are willing to go with this show...
Let's not apologise for this. This is some of the most confident storytelling, like I said in the previous pod, that I've seen from anybody. I
agree.
Since Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
And I think that even if you don't particularly... Because as I say, I have a massive fondness for that era style before it goes into the colour as well, obviously. But the black and white, that era, I have a massive fondness that is since my childhood
Yes.
for that style of story. So I feel like if you went into it even without that existing nostalgic love of the era and the style,
or without the existing love for the characters that you've seen a few times.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you were expecting something else and got this, I think that you can, there is so much good quality story in this show. It would take a lot for me to just disregard it, because...
Right. Okay, so I have a couple of points in defense of the CAC person, who is a CAC person, and I agree that person is a CAC person.
What is your defense of Mr. Cack?
Okay, so...
I'm assuming it was Mr. I don't know. I can't remember. I just ignored them.
I would always assume it was
a
penised human CAC person.
Yeah.
Right? In CAC person's defense, CACman.
Cacman. Mr. Cacman.
Mr. CAC. The mighty CAC. In that person's defense, right? This is a weird fucking TV show.
It is.
Right? There's no question. Like, there is no need for the screen to shrink to like an old-timey sized screen. Now, you enjoy it because you find the charm in it. But I mean, CAC person might be like 20 years younger than you, and who wants to see a big screen.
You know what's
doesn't
really
want like canned laughter? Like,
alarming for me right now?
Go on.
This somebody could be 20 years younger than me and not in nappies. I'm like, yeah, that is a person who's on the internet expressing opinions about...
Well out of nappies, my darling.
Yeah, oh my god, I'm so old.
Cacman
Cacman
may have been like, no, I wanted to see people blowing each other up, and this is like there's literally canned laughter.
I know.
In it.
And I love it.
Yeah, but we grew up watching Friends, so we're used to it. And like before that's like a 40-year-old tradition of having an audience laughing. But like in Community, which I think started around 2007, they'd done away with having an audience laughing at the jokes. Like, this is...
Yeah, you are right.
This is really retro now. And it doesn't feel like it to us old people.
No, you're right. To be fair, you are right. In defense of Cacman, if this is completely an alien style, it would just feel weird.
Yeah. So another example from Buffy the Vampire Slayer, right? I remember the episode where Jonathan... Remember Jonathan?
Yes.
For the purpose of the podcast.
Oh, for the purpose of the Podlovians. Oh, is Jonathan that strange nerd who tried to shoot people and then was part of the trio?
Yes.
I am familiar with that Smallman.
Okay, good.
Thank you. Was that better?
That's Smallman. He's actually a really good writer. Anyway, so
Sweets.
Like Sweets, yeah. Who wrote or co-wrote the first Spider-Man film with Tom Holland in it. Anyway,
I thought he did Spider-Verse.
No, that was a different Sweets.
Oh.
Anyway, the
carry on.
Carry on. So Jonathan.
Yes.
Jonathan Levinson. That's his name.
It is. He's not Levinson Gould.
He's not Levinson Gould either. We
make so many references to TV shows without any explanation.
The Podlovians understand.
Podlovians, just go with us. We know TV.
We will talk about Stark Industries, and I will talk about...
Oh my gosh! The toaster designed by Stark Industries in episode 1. I loved it.
And the watch designed by Strucker in episode 2.
And I feel like the helicopter had something on it, and I can't remember what it was.
I can't remember the helicopter.
In the hedge, a little red...
Oh, yeah.
I
can't remember what it had on it.
Yeah, I feel like it had something on it, but I couldn't swear.
There's an episode of Buffy where Jonathan is, from the get-go, suddenly cooler than
Superstar.
Buffy. Yeah, superstar. He's suddenly cooler than Buffy. He's stronger than Buffy. He's suddenly the hero of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And you watch it, you're like, what the fuck is going on? And I remember watching, because I watched it on my fucking birthday. My 18th birthday.
Oh, like 100 years ago.
100 years ago.
I
watched it on my 18th birthday, because I am now 118 years old. You still get ID'd. Which means they think I'm some kind of weird angel.
My birthday was a mere 99 years ago.
Yeah, right? So, I should never compare myself to Angel. Even if I'm just joking about how old I am. Because suddenly anyway, doesn't matter. So,
You're getting the Boreanaz insecurities right now.
oy vey,
Oy vey.
with the poodles. So,
That was another TV reference.
that was another 90s TV reference.
Oh, we're on it today.
We are emphatically on it.
Crack on.
It exists, and we are upon it. So, Jonathan is the king of the
Nerd,
world,
and he comes
right?
king, yeah.
And from the start of the episode, it's like that, and it's weird. And I remember being like, I don't like it.
Yeah, I had the same
'Cause
response.
I don't get what's going on. And if you're a Marvel fan, and you're only like a Marvel fan, like, oh, I go watch the movies, and the movies are great because you know what's going on, and you go, oh, there's a new Marvel thing on, and you put it on, and then there's like this weird canned laughter, and they're going to live in the place, and you're just like, well, what the fuck is this?
Yeah,
If
no,
you're
okay,
Catman,
you're right. If you're Catman,
then you're entitled, I think, to be a bit like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Get out.
No, I agree. All right, I take back my full condemnation of
Full
Catman.
condemnation. But I agree with you that any kind of filmmaking endeavour deserves some respect.
Also, I feel like if you can kind of engage a little imagination,
Yeah.
you can see that.
But you shouldn't, if you're telling a story, you shouldn't be telling the audience to do work.
True. All right. No, you are right. You are right.
Like you can't say, come with me. Like, and I say this as someone who, my best work, as we've joked about in the past, is done if you'll just buy in for like 500,000 words.
You're right. You're like, I'm building to something. You have to let me. When you get there, it's worth it.
I will deliver, but just come with me.
Yeah. No, all right. Okay, you are right. I am kind of a bit, because I genuinely loved it. Yeah. I loved every moment of every episode so far.
I'm thrilled you loved it because we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, so I'm going to be like, honestly, it would take at this point. My final thoughts. We're on to final thoughts, right? Because we've talked a lot.
Ah, fuck it.
Fuck it. I feel like at this point, I know we're only 2 episodes in.
It's your favourite TV show that ever was made?
No.
Second favourite.
Second favourite. It would take a lot for me to lose the positivity I have. Yeah. I as I say, I went in with positivity of love because I love Wanda. I love Elizabeth Olsen's portrayal of Wanda.
She doesn't scribble out lines in her script.
I also, when it started, it hit all these nostalgic buttons for me. Like, yeah. I was having... I was, like, immediately, like...
Dick Sargent, Dick York. Sergeant York.
I was immediately...
There were 2 Daryl Stevens. Sure, right. As if we wouldn't notice.
I was immediately having a good time. So I'm well bought in. The fear factor from the B-Man shook the,
Shooketh.
It shook the core of the show in a way that I loved. Mm-hmm. The flashes of colour were
honestly, right?
Fabulous.
If Thanos had crawled out of that gate, great. It would have been less
terrifying,
interesting, and scary than if Weird B Guy.
Weird B Guy. I'm obsessed with it. As I say, I love the Abramsian hatch thing.
You do.
I'm obsessed with a mystery where you're like, there is so many mysteries and I don't know which one to focus on because there's so many of them. I love that. I would love any show where you're like, I don't know what the hell is going on. There's so many mysteries and I want to go around every single hatch.
Yes.
So this does so many things that tick my boxes.
Yes.
That I'm very happy.
Ace.
Yeah.
I am also very happy.
Cool.
I mean, it's the MCU.
Yes.
Right? Yes. And we're going to call it that because it is.
Why would we not?
Because it's not the cinematic universe.
Oh, it's the MTU.
It's like some kind of, oh god, it's an extended universe.
It's a Marvel televisionatic.
But it's part of it exists in the same world as the stuff that happens on the big screen.
It does. So it's the MEU.
No, because that sounds too much like the DCEU.
What? So MCU and DCU are okay?
No, because it's not the DCU.
What is it?
DCEU.
Oh, this is bollocks.
It is bollocks, but...
Just call it the MCU. It exists in the MCU.
Yes.
television can be cinematic in presentation.
Well, it is cinematic. Like, and frankly, this is as I have mentioned already, and as I will probably mention again, giving me something I think that this duo needs.
I agree.
Which is a reason to care about them.
Yes.
Like, beyond, like, they live together apparently for 5 minutes in Civil War, and then they're apparently in Scotland.
And they're madly in love and forever
apparently
couple.
They love each other, but one's like a witch and one's a magic robot.
I agree. This fills a void that needed filling.
Because you get, like, just when she looks up at him and she says, "Is this really happening?" and you have to hear it twice, and you know that it's not.
Yeah.
And every single time she says it, he lies, and she's got a baby in her womb. That's,
you know, that
that's building the reason to care about
because
them.
she's trying to force that world to make it real.
Yes. She has her envision in her head that she wants to. Well, I mean, I say that. I don't know that.
No, but I agree. In terms of theory, if we're in series of the final thoughts thing.
Are we into final thoughts? Jerry's final thoughts?
Yeah, well, we've been in that for ages.
We are.
We've been talking for like 5 hours at this point.
We've been talking for 5 hours, Podlovians.
I feel like, yeah, you're right. The flashes of colour that she couldn't stop showed the lack of control she had over the magic in that world. So she forced the world to conform to the magic she couldn't control, which means she is losing control of the magic. Because if you force your world to be out of control, because there's things happening that are out of your control, how much is she going to force that world to adapt? Because if she's forced colour on it now, what happens in episode 3? What is going to be beyond her control in that she then forces the world to conform to?
Yeah, and eventually, like, say, if I'm writing it and I don't want to. I don't know what happens.
No, if I'm writing it, you make her choose for him to die again and say goodbye to him.
She has to say goodbye. And in the most brutally painful way possible.
100%. It is a horrible, tortured experience awaiting Wanda. If I was writing it, that's what would happen.
I'd be literally building to it now.
I feel they are building to it now.
Hopefully, there'll be references to things that are being said that we don't know are references yet.
I agree. They're foreshadowing.
That's what I would be doing.
Yeah, I agree. So next time we watch it through, when it's finished, you'll watch it and be like, oh, that's what I'm hoping. As I said, I think that that's what they're doing, because
lots of indestructible heads.
Yeah. So, thank you very much for listening to episode 2 of our WandaVision podcast. If you want to know more about me and Jonathan McKinney, go to sirenstories.co.uk. I will be putting links in the bio of this thing. This podcast. It's also going to be going out on YouTube. If you prefer that as the medium for consuming your entertainables.
That said, we have not filmed ourselves, so
no,
you will be looking at something else.
It'll just be photos of us looking like, hello. It's just as a different way of putting the audio content out, really. Yeah, we are not going to film ourselves right now because we're in our pajamas. And
I'm not, actually.
Oh, you're not? I am. I'm always in pajamas unless I'm doing things. But yeah, we are not in any fit state to be filmed.
It's true.
But we will be putting it out on YouTube as an alternative way of listening. So yeah, if you go to Siren Stories, you'll find all of our links to everything that we do, all our books, our film, our TV, everything we've got going on, and please subscribe to this podcast for further WandaVision-based entertainment medium format.
And if, Podlovian friend, you are so inclined, rate the podcast in-app.
Is that a thing?
Because if you rate the podcast in-app, right, on your phone, as you're walking around, walking the dog, maybe, or typing numbers into a screen, or whatever it is that you're doing, then that helps us a great deal.
Oh, yes, please do that then.
This podcast in front of other people who would not see it.
Oh, yes, please do that. Please rate our podcast in-app.
Yes, with 5 stars.
Oh, yes, please do the 5 stars. And if you're on YouTube listening, please thumb us up.
Yes, give us an emphatic thumbs up.
Thank you very much for listening. We'll be back again soon. Bye!